Thanks so much for joining us here at noon on this Monday. I'm Brooke Hash. Our top story today is all about Venezuela. The ousted president there, Nicolas Maduro, and his wife facing a federal judge in New York City today on narco-terrorism charges after U.S. forces captured the both of them over the weekend. And that hearing is happening right now. Prosecutors said Maduro and his allies partnered with violent and dangerous drug traffickers in Colombia and Mexico to move tons of cocaine into the United States. ABC's Rena Roy has the latest from outside that federal courthouse in Lower Manhattan.
Ousted Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro and his wife Cilia Flores appearing in a U.S. federal court in New York today, both facing narco-terrorism charges. Chopper video shows Maduro being transported from Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn to the courthouse in Manhattan this morning. You see him handcuffed and crawling into an armored vehicle before being hoisted into a helicopter. Demonstrators gathering outside the courthouse. Maduro, Flores, and 4 other defendants are accused of leading a 25-year narco-terrorism conspiracy that imported tons of cocaine into the U.S. The indictment saying Maduro used the profits he made to secure loyalty and stay in power. He has long denied the allegations. His lawyers expected to argue he should be immune to foreign prosecution as a head of state, but the U.S. says it doesn't recognize him as the president of Venezuela.
The idea is that the United States has historically asserted the power, the jurisdiction, to prosecute heads of state, particularly when the United States government perceives those heads of state as illegitimate, which is certainly the case with Maduro, that the head of state immunity that might otherwise apply does not apply.
This court appearance comes after his dramatic capture over the weekend. More than 150 military aircraft launching from 20 different bases and ships across the region, arriving in Caracas around 2 a.m. local time Saturday amid heavy gunfire. Maduro and his wife taken on board the USS Iwo Jima, Trump posting this picture of Maduro on the aircraft. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
We do expect this to be a long legal battle. The charges Maduro is facing carry a maximum sentence of life in prison. Now, here in Louisville, protests popped up all along Saturday following that operation. And while some Louisvillians spoke out against the military action, a group of Venezuelan Americans praised the liberation of their home country. Our Clary Shaley and photojournalist Connie Offit share why they're celebrating.
Latin nationalities come together in one Louisville room.
See, you see what happened last night. There's something everybody in the world from Venezuela is waiting.
Jose da Silva stands with his fellow Venezuelan community celebrating the capture of President Nicolas Maduro.
What happened last night, I need to happen.
Seeing the strike and capture as the liberation of their homeland.
Cuba Libre, so this is the freedom for Cuba.
By their side are members of the Cuban community.
And every time we go to any of these rallies in support of other countries, we take it with us.
They know how their fellow Latinos have suffered after decades of being under a dictatorship themselves.
This moment for Venezuelans is a sign, it
signals hope their turn will be next.
Venezuela isn't yours! Venezuela isn't yours!
Mixed reaction across town in the Highlands. Protesters calling this a breach of power.
You know, President Trump, why don't you run your own country? You know, we have people in the streets here starving every night. People that will tonight die of cold in this country, and we do nothing about it.
It does immediately put the United States back in the center of hemispheric politics here in the Western Hemisphere. And it's going to be an interesting 2026 as a result.
Dr. Kurt Jefferson, professor of global leadership for Spalding University, says the sanctioning and removing of Maduro has been an interest of a few American administrations.
Trump, remember, is about making deals, and he's about business first, even though he's using heavy force to achieve these ends. I think he would probably pause before doing something trying to inflame any situations in the region.
And when it comes to President Trump's words on not being afraid to put boots on the ground, Jefferson thinks that's not likely to happen soon. Clary Shaley, WHAS11 on your side.
The Trump administration says it did not tell Congress about the operation for fear of information leaking. Here at home, Kentucky's congressional delegation have given mixed reactions to that decision. In our studio over the weekend, Democratic Congressman Morgan McGarvey expressed concern with the communication from the White House.
Number one, what does this mean for America and America's military? What does this mean for America's taxpayers? I do not want another endless war. I do not want to spend trillions of taxpayer money or sacrifice thousands of American lives like we did in the last endless war for oil in this country. We can't have that happen again.
McGarvey added once Congress begins its second session this coming week, he expects a push for greater transparency and accountability. Meanwhile, Kentucky Republican Congressman Andy Barr said he's in favor of Maduro's apprehension. He took to X saying critics of President Trump's actions in Venezuela should be ashamed. Far from violating international law, President Trump is enforcing the law with the action in Venezuela. Americans everywhere should celebrate that President Trump has restored international order and further deterred our enemies. As the story develops, we will keep you updated both on air and online. You can stay informed on WHAS11.com or download the free WHAS11 app. The U.S. Secret Service says a man is in police custody in Ohio. The suspect, 26-year-old William DeFore of Cincinnati, allegedly damaged the home of Vice President J.D. Vance in town, including breaking windows. We're told from Secret Service that no one was home at the time. That location is just along the Ohio River east of downtown Cincy. The Secret Service said the Vice President and his family were not in Ohio when it happened. It's all taking place just around midnight. 12:05 is your time on this Monday. Soak it all in. We had that beautiful sunrise this morning, Matthew, and you said it might be the only real one we see after today.
Yeah, honestly, we'll start to see clouds roll in and then eventually rain roll in. So, of course, it's January, so this is typically one of our cloudiest months of the year. We'll enjoy that sunshine as we go towards this lunch hour. Current temperature is starting to warm up a little bit. We're into the lower 50s now and warming up into the mid 50s by this afternoon for highs. 46 degrees still in Paoli, 49 in Mitchell, right here in Louisville, 52 degrees, and E-Town at 51 degrees. Feel like temperatures kind of similar, actually. Seymour at 44 and 48 into Mitchell. 52 degrees right here in Louisville. So we're kind of seeing those feel like temperatures and regular temperatures kind of match today. So those weather headlines we're tracking for you. Honestly, it'll be a pleasant day. It'll feel much warmer than what we've seen the past couple of days. But we are still going to see those cool nights and even a rainy end to the week ahead for us. So as we look at satellite radar, we are starting to see more clouds start to roll in for us. We didn't really see that this morning, but starting to see more of those roll in for this afternoon. And give you a look at that Monday coffee planner. We're into the 30s this morning, but back into the afternoon, we're talking mid 50s on the way. Some areas further south could even see the lower 60s out there for us. So highs today, 55 degrees in Louisville, 60 degrees in Greensburg, Columbia at 59 degrees. Places like Springfield could even see 60. So definitely feeling more like spring than winter out there for today with some mild and sunny conditions. But I talked about the rain. We'll be welcoming in that once again as we go towards the Thursday and likely into Friday. So I'll be timing out the week ahead and those details coming up in just a few minutes. Back over to you, Brooke.
All right, thanks, Matthew. The race for Louisville's mayor is heating up. Metro Council Democrat Shamika Parrish-Wright officially announced her bid for office on Saturday. She's running against the incumbent mayor, Craig Greenberg, also a Democrat. This is her second to go for the seat. She said this was the beginning of, she was becoming hopeless about the future of the city and wanted to make a change.
It's a very special city that is an affordable base for people to grow, to thrive, to survive, to do all the things that they want to do in life. And I want to be in position to help make decisions that will enrich those lives, that gives seniors the opportunities to age in place, that gives our young people an opportunity to say, hey, there is something here for me.
Parrish-Wright said her first task, if elected, would be to reorganize Metro government to make it more accessible to people in Louisville. And this will be the first nonpartisan election for both mayor and Metro Council members in Louisville after a new state law passed in 2024. So the top two candidates, regardless of party, will be on the ballot, and you won't see a D or an R by their names when they run. The filing deadline is this Friday, January 9th. The election itself will be held on Tuesday, November 3rd.